Murder, She Rolled is a bloody, sexy, deadly podcast, not for the faint of heart or young of age. Content warning in the episode description.
Spying on the intruders throughout the fortress of the Forgotten Sun, I have recently learned that my attackers are the stupidest people I've ever had the displeasure of encountering. I really was expecting that Lucky Kurzel, my greatest opponent, would have brought somebody with some sort of military prowess or magical skill or self-confidence. One of them does have a nice dragon, though, so points to her. Long story short, Lucky made it down to me, the only one. Of course, what chance would the rest of them have? They're getting eaten by a wall of flesh as we speak. Lucky's on a table. I'm about to take his brain out. See what else I can do. Welcome to Murder, She Rolled.
I'm taking my time. What's the use in running? I've been taking it all with a grain of salt. Ain't a sweet thing coming. Oh, I've got a silver gun in my pocket and some metal for the ferryman. So an old man dad's cold bones coming knocking, I'll knock him through the devil's hands.
It's David, bitch. Welcome to Murder, She Rolled.
Okay.
Podcast about 4 corpses, now 3 corpses, brought back to life to solve their murders in the course of 1 year, and if they don't do that, they're sent back to hell. Also, there's a living guy, and his name's Stick right now, but sometimes it isn't.
Ha! I just want to make a noise.
My name is Alan Seawright. I am a guy on the internet, and I play Lucky Kurzel, not half-elf ranger. Unspeakable horror from beyond the stars, perhaps?
And we love.
I'm trapped in the body of the man that I hate the most, the man that turned me into this unspeakable creation. Unfortunately, I am pretty handsome.
Kravitz is a looker for sure.
Kravitz is a good-looking dude, and even though Lucky hates everything about that, during the transfer process, he doesn't actually remember what he used to look like. He has his entire childhood, but in his memory, he looks like Kravitz.
Ooh,
Yes.
that's confusing.
Well, we'll let the audience draw a picture of that, and we'll then be the judge of.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're right.
7.5.
Draw your Kravitzes. Let us rate him.
Yes, please.
My name is Stacey Harkey. I play the character Posey Borgion, who's I always want to go Southern with it, but that's not me.
Highfalutin.
Grew up in a political family. Fun fact about Posey, he has probably like 60 butter knives on him right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
On
That's a
him.
lot of butter
That's
knives.
not talking about the pram.
Hi, I'm Ethan Vandermeiden. I play the character of Stick Walkman, who has a walking stick named Milton. He's a Lightfoot halfling.
It's not a walking stick anymore.
He has 2 walking sticks
He
named
has
Milton.
You have two
walking-
shards.
He has 2 shards of walking sticks. No, one's named Milt and one named Tin. I would say this journey that he has been on with these wonderful people has been probably one of the greatest experiences of his life. I would say that. And he is much sexier than Lucky. I would say that.
I think Stick does think that, yes.
yes.
He does
yes,
think that.
he very much thinks that. Hi, my name is Hope Vandermeiden. I think I'm happy to be here.
Yay!
Are you here?
Yeah, and I think I'm Delilah Winthrop. And next.
Yeah, you just got absorbed by the big goobly goop. the
Yes,
big
I
thing.
did.
the
Yes, I
goobly goop.
did. Fun fact about Delilah. That was kind of traumatic for her.
Oh, really?
And I think for a lot of people here.
Why?
I don't know. It's just something about being absorbed in a lot of emotions, you know. It's kind of tough.
Hi there. My name is Shona Kay. I play the character Amber Ziffendale. She is called Zippy by her friends, but she is a siblingless, friendless, half elf, half. What else am I? A druid?
Half elf,
Half elf,
human.
but
Half human,
full
half
druid.
druid, full druid, half elf, half human, half witch.
That's
You'd
right.
think I would know this by now, but I choose not to. So,
You gotta do that research like Hope.
Fun fact about Amber: she loves her animals and has actually named her dragon. It has a first and last name. Her first name is Pepper. You shall learn the last name in the next episode.
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay, I do have to clarify. I was really off on my butter knife thing. I actually have like 100 butter knives because we
What?
got more. I
On your
didn't realize.
person?
Yeah.
How do they not jingle as you walk?
Maybe they do. I don't know.
Wait, are we ready for the episode? Are
Let's
we doing it
go.
now?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Never again.
Stick is barely holding on to consciousness, almost completely out of HP, staring at where Delilah was as her laughter emanates throughout the room. You've caught up to them at this point.
But the smoke is there. The monster is still
Encroaching,
undulating.
still trying to get towards the door, which is closing you in towards this corner of the room.
I dig my heels into Posey so he does not stop moving, and I literally just reach out to grab the back of Stick and try to pull him up onto the bear behind me or up onto my shoulders.
Stick is screaming in pain as you do that.
And I say, Posey, you need to get us out of here right now.
Well, I dare say, we're moving quickly. And I dig in my owlbear claws and talons and just book it towards the lobby. I guess I don't have to narrate like
You
that.
don't have to narrate.
But I don't hate it.
it.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, so then I'm just like gripping on for dear life in Zippy's arms, and I just say to her softly, like, Zippy, I can feel it growing. I can feel it in my spine.
What can you feel?
Hey, don't say
So
that.
I hear you saying this. I'm whistling for my dragon's back on my shoulder. After she lit the whole place on fire, she's back with me. And I'm going to open your jacket. I want to see what you're talking about. So I'm going to start searching your... I'm going to start...
Stripping you.
stripping you.
In typical Zippy fashion.
Then I'm gonna be like, stop, don't touch me, don't touch me.
And then I'm going to say... I'm going to lean in very quietly towards your ear and say, what did you say to the monster when it was against the wall? You have to stop.
We have to stop.
This is Sounds of Flesh Volume 2.
I can't stop.
We can't.
I can't stop.
Stop, don't touch me. It got me. It got me.
Okay,
Okay, what do I see when I open the jacket?
So you pull the shirt back and you see, very similar to what you saw in Posey not very long ago, there is a tendrily ball of flesh working its way under the skin. And the further down you look, the more you see that his entire spinal column is just writhing with Screamer. You can see an entry wound in the top of his arm where this thing had gotten in when Delilah pushed him up against the wall and has been working its way as quickly as it could towards his brain. As he turns around to tell you to stop touching him, at the corner of his eye, in his pupil, there are these tiny, hair-thin, nervous tendrils working their way up into his brain.
I can't see.
I pull back on the owlbear feathers. I Posey, stop. We have to wait.
I hear the severity and I immediately turn back into, not a foghorn, owlbear, but into me.
Oh, you're back into you. Oh, okay.
I turn back into myself.
So we just fall on the floor.
Well, I hear like the seriousness of something. I know something went down and I need to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so
what
you
it
want
is.
to be your form. I probably would fall to the floor, kind of guide him down to the floor. I'm still cradling him a little bit. And this stuff is just through his eyeballs, up his spine.
He has maybe a minute left.
And is that the only thing hurting him? Does he have these other wounds? Are these things that I can heal? Or is this...
So if you've opened up his shirt far enough, you've seen that there is just this absolutely
Oh my
gaping
gosh.
axe wound in his abdomen, filling with blood.
It is an axe wound.
It is clearly
So
an
Delilah
axe
did
wound.
this to him.
Yes.
Okay, Zippy clocks that just for everyone
Okay.
listening. Zippy
I mean-
is aware of this.
You could
And she doesn't forget, peeps.
you could absolutely like make an attempt to heal him, but if you remember, these tendrils are extremely hard to get out
Yeah.
once they're fully underneath the flesh, especially this far advanced.
And we can't just do like a healing thing. It has to be like fire. And that is
the
like,
only thing you could do now
I
is
know Zippy knows immediately this is going to kill him if I try to burn this out.
Yeah.
I look up at Posey.
How fast is the monster booking it towards us?
oh, because it's moving quick.
it is just reaching the door of the lobby and is now beginning to squish its way into the room.
And I don't have legs. I forgot.
Oh, you don't have legs.
I don't know why I did this in the lobby, but yeah, I don't have
Oh,
legs.
God. So I'm sitting here with legless lump here and
Rude.
then dying dude. And then, all right.
Guys, I can buy you some time.
What?
And I think Stick's gonna stand up very slowly, and very weakly.
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 Stick. Stop. We got to get moving, man.
Here. And I'm gonna take off my prosthetic leg.
You have a prosthetic
What?
leg?
Wait.
Hang on, Speedy McGee.
You've been
on
running
a
around this
fat
fortress
second.
this entire time.
Oh shit!
What?
He touched the thing.
What?
The screamer touched him. He
His
cut his
backstory.
own leg off in his backstory.
Oh.
Is that when that happened?
It must.
I thought y'all would just put this together. Like, how the flip does he have a leg?
You
Oh
thought we would
my
just know
gosh,
you've been
Gal.
like the fastest character and have a prosthetic leg?
Okay, so how
God
tall is
damn.
this prosthetic leg? Is
dang.
it basically the size of like
Yes.
Posey's
Yes.
knee from the knee down? Would it replace?
Yeah, I'll just give it to Posey.
See how God works.
Okay, so
when he takes one leg, he finds a way to
Posey
give
is
you
so
another.
positive that he's like, as expected.
I'm like-
works your friend dying on the
But
ground.
this is like emotional. This is like dad dying and he's like dulling out his will.
Okay, are you
Yeah.
putting the leg on? What are
Precious.
you gonna do? I hand you this
Immediately.
leg. Okay.
Immediately, I put the leg on and cast a healing spell.
And then what I'll do is I'll take
my
the...
leg.
I have 2 pieces of
Not
the stick.
unstick, just
Yeah, and then I have 2 pieces of the stick still, like, you
they're
know.
kind of protruding out
Yeah.
through your body,
So what-
right? Okay, Zippy's pissed that
And
you
then so-
healed your leg, so I go to heal you, Stick. I'm gonna put my hand on you to heal you.
And then I'm going to, like, put my arm out to be like, no, it's okay. And then I'm going to rip out one of the pieces of the stick.
Oh. Owie.
Then I'm like, take Mill.
And hand it over to Posey.
You see how God works? Another leg. Immediately put it onto my other leg and do another healing thing on me.
Wait. Now you just have 2 peg legs,
I do have 2 peg legs.
One's like a full prosthetic, and,
and one's
just
Milton.
One's extra
Mill.
fast.
It's Mill.
Mill. All right.
half of Milton.
I love that like Stick lives on in me in some way.
He's still alive, Posey.
Oh, yeah,
he's
he's
right
not-
here.
Hope is literally collapsing on the floor right now.
He's literally right here. Okay.
I pull Stick close with
Uh,
making sure to avoid. So it's kind of a weird hug to avoid like the writhing parts, and I just like pull him close, and I thank you for everything.
And I just go close and I go, thanks for letting me see one last time.
Oh, you're Albert.
And then I'm going to take the other stick. I'm going to put it up in the air. Peppa, light it! And then
I just give her a little nod, and she just blows the top of that stick on fire.
Awesome.
And then I'm gonna turn to the monster hurtling towards us.
Wait.
Towards us.
You only have one leg,
Hurtling
an axe
towards
in your belly.
You're hopping blind.
I'm hopping.
Stick.
It's okay. It's okay, guys. And thank you. Good luck.
Stick.
It's okay, Zip. It's okay.
Zip.
Let
Wait,
me do
I've
this.
never had a nickname before.
He took the nickname and made it a
Your
nicker
name is a nickname.
I know,
Shut
but it's
up, Lucky.
even more nicked now.
It's okay. And I'm gonna start rushing towards the creature, and I'm gonna go, my name is Stick Walkman! And this is my walking stick ton! You killed my owl bear! Prepare to die! I'm gonna watch it.
Why did that make me
Wait.
cry?
I am laughing and crying at the same time.
Oh my god.
That
Zippy
was
is just
The
staring.
most Stick way to die, laughing and crying at the
Oh,
same
it's beautiful.
Okay, Zippy's just, there's no saving him, so I'm just gonna.
Yeah. Okay. Stick makes contact with this wall of flesh, and as he smacks into it, he continues pushing, fully and willfully absorbing himself. When the torch makes contact, instantly this dragon fire spreads across the entire front of the remaining screamer. Absolute shock shudders throughout this entire mass, and it begins now to realize that there is no direction of escape, and begins instead just retreating in upon itself, shrinking further and further under the weight of electricity and fire and violence, until the screams begin dying out into a whimper, and it vanishes into the atrium out of view, taking Stick's body with it, echoing his very last screams.
Gosh dang.
Posey. I think that you should keep going down to the next floor. I think you need to go and find Lucky. But I can't leave this floor. We just lost 2 of our friends and we can't have come to this floor and found no information, nothing to help us solve what we came here for. I have to go back.
Go back?
There were rooms all along the side. There was a corridor that went around the room that we could still have access to. And I want to see what's in these rooms. I have to know. I didn't just lose 2 friends for no reason.
I'm rattled and shaken, but my experience and background and upbringing takes over as I compartmentalize the 2 people I've cared about who just died. And both, I guess, in forms of defiance. I take a deep breath. I swallow it. And I'm like, we're in this together. I'm not losing someone else. And I balance my way up onto these nubby little legs I have and immediately move as quick as I can. And it kind of sounds like Mr. Krabs, that little like, or like, I can't do the sound effect.
Yeah, that's it.
Every time.
And I'm realizing that not only are these legs incredibly well made and surprisingly nimble, I think I'm faster than I normally am. Also,
that was your most valiant effort yet. No.
I level up.
Exactly.
But I do realize that in one of the legs, and not the prosthetic leg, but the mill part of my leg, I hear like rattling around.
I mean, it sounds like Santa's sleigh when you're walking. I mean, I'm hearing ching, 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 ching. Yeah, because he stuffed things in there.
I open the end of it and I find...
Oh, you find a shit ton of money.
Hey! See how God works! Hallelujah!
I think God needs to bless both of our lives, and I hold my hands out.
Gospel music starts playing. Ding, 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 ding. I start shaking that leg like a tambourine. I'm like, let's go find out what we can.
You also see scribed in like very small on the side of the stick. It says "stick was here."
Aww. Zippy tried to hide this when you said, "Hey, I'm gonna come with you," but like I just kept a totally straight face, and I was like, "Okay," but she's very excited that you're coming with her because she didn't want to go off on her own.
Oh.
And so I was like, "Okay, fine. If you're gonna come with me, try to keep up."
I don't even know what's. I don't know what's. Okay, ouch, damn. I look at you and I'm like, "Do you know who you're talking to?" Another classic Zippy and Posey mess around, and then I go to high five her,
and I turn him.
So he is disconnected from me physically now?
Yes.
So is Lucky immobilized then? Like
he's not immobilized.
Oh, so he just like violated my mind and left me sitting there and he's picking up leather straps, just leaving me there like a dumbass?
He seems completely confident in his ability to subdue you. He's very unworried and unhurried.
I jump up and take the prod from him with my sword. I cut off his hand that's holding it.
Give me an attack roll.
That's a 16.
That hits. Roll for damage.
6.
You swing up with your sword and deal a pretty nasty slash to his wrist. His hand's not cut off, but it's enough to make him drop his prodder. He is immediately going to whip around and try to pick it back up with his other hand. Let's do a contested dexterity.
Twin.
Where have you been?
Nobody knows me like you do.
Kravitz got a natural 1.
Ooh. Cause he sucks.
So you know
Suck
what?
on that Shavaka dude.
You know what? His hand does come off.
He spins around so hard his hand falls off.
The rest of it was hanging on by a little flap, and it just...
It goes sailing through the room. Oh, horrible.
That's
I love
funny.
it. I then scoop up the prod with my offhand, so I've got sword in one hand, prod in the other. I just give him a whole blast of juice right in the throat.
Oh, all right.
What does that mean?
How about
I hit him.
we
I just give him
consider
a.
rephrase?
How about
Bruh.
we
I
take
give
a
him-
few steps back?
Yeah. So I
No.
I
You
hit
give him
him
a blast of juice right in the throat.
I hit him in the.
I mean, this is the rules, man. Like, once you say it, you gotta stick with it.
So I look at Kravitz, who is presumably shrieking that his hand just flew off.
No.
No, just chill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that checks out. The psychopath that he is, he would not be freaking
Well, he
out.
also knows how to, like, he thinks he can just regrow himself a hand out of, you know,
That's true.
screamer
Does he
goo.
think that, or does he know that?
Yeah, what's this man's
Ooh.
secret?
Whatever. He's pretty
I don't know
good at
his backstory.
evil science. So I just look at him and grin, and stick the prod right up under his jawline and just sap him. Just hit him one real good
just
one.
a throat full of warm juice.
That's what they say
Jeez.
about that.
So
Louise.
disgusting.
Warm made it so much worse.
I don't think of electricity as cold.
You said warm juice.
Yeah. Juice? Like, give it
Electrical
more
juice.
juice? Your phone needs more juice?
Were you guys thinking that?
We were,
Yeah,
of
same.
course,
They were all thinking
that.
cum.
No,
Oh my
gosh.
Hey, that's a category online. Twins? No? Okay.
Oh my.
What happens?
Are you going full throttle on this?
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sorry, there's no
it's-
way to make this sound normal anymore.
It's like whatever number of notches it has on the little handle, I twist it to the full thing, I flick the switch, I give it the turbo button, I do the whole whatever.
Roll 2d6.
Okay, 2d6. That'll be 8.
Okay, you deal 8 damage to him, and for a few seconds, he is completely immobilized, staring at you with a frozen smile.
Really quickly, reach into his pocket and grab the keys out of the pocket.
Okay,
I take the leather straps that he was going to grab, and I hog tie him,
hot. Okay.
like hands behind his back.
Well,
One hand, I mean, the other hand can't do anything.
you're right,
He
3
can
limbs and a nubbin.
He can flail around with a nubbin.
Yeah.
So I
Nubbins.
hog tie the one hand and both legs behind him. I
Yeah.
leave the other one out.
Yeah, because nothing you can
What's
do.
he going to do with it?
Yeah.
Put him face down on the ground and step on the back of his neck
Okay.
and slowly
Okay.
press down. And then I lean down as close as I can get to his face. And I say, let's find out everything you can tell me.
Zippy and Posey, you guys have headed down the perimeter hallway that goes along the outside of the main atrium where the asteroid is. Using the maps, which you can access for free on our Patreon, everyone! Go do that. You can go into Main Laboratory 1, Main Laboratory 2, or Main Laboratory 3, and all of the side rooms that are connected to them, or any of the conference rooms along this far side of the room.
Girl, we got to do some laboratory
It is
exploration.
lab time
Lab
for us
time.
all day.
I snapped
Okay.
my gloves.
You
Where did those
just
come
have
from?
gloves?
Who knows? I found them in the stick.
And I have no questions because they look fabulous. Okay. So wait, just to make sure other people listening to this. So it's like the fire and the squelching and the meteor and everything is separated by, is it a stone wall? Is it glass? What is separating this?
Yeah.
stone.
So the main atrium, I did mention that the entire meteor was surrounded by this wooden scaffolding, but the scaffolding is butted up against thick stone walls that surround all 4 sides of this
I
atrium.
mean, carved out of the bedrock, essentially.
Literally carved out of the bedrock. Like this 4th floor is so far down in the fortress. It was almost like
It's
an
below the
addition
ice.
to the fortress after it was built. Yes.
And so-
It's almost warmer down here than it is up on the higher
Oh,
floors.
yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
got to be at this point.
Well,
Yeah.
it's on fire. So.
Well, it definitely is now that it's flaming.
Okay, so we're in that main hallway that's
yes.
outside of that stone wall.
And this perimeter hallway goes up and down 3 sides of this main atrium. So you could access literally anywhere on this floor using this perimeter hallway without ever having to go into the atrium.
we would have realized that in the beginning.
I know. So we
Instead of
are
running things.
closest to Laboratory 3. I just think well, first I want to listen at the door
Okay.
Okay, so
Like kids hearing their almost divorced parents fight.
or make love.
Oh!
Or both.
It depends on what we hear.
you leaned against the door to listen to that? No, I don't think I want to dig into that actually. So blast doors on this room are actually hanging open. You can see that this is a laboratory that Lucky reached when he was clearing out the fortress. This entire lab has been burned.
Okay, he came through here with a friggin' dragon.
Yep.
But
so
since I'm so good at finding, I don't want to find things that are out in the open. I want to find things that are secrets. I pull out my wand and I want to find Revelia.
Are we in Harry Potter now?
But
Ravioli.
like you know how like it can show you where there's a secret doorway. I'm like, show me your secrets, and I just want to know. I want it to tell me what room to go into.
And I do an initial perception or nature check or whatever is going to give me the highest roll.
okay.
23.
What? He wants to do a nature check. Do not get in my man's way.
Okay, so you see a very faint, think of it like a snail trail that cuts through the burn marks and ash, comes into the room around the perimeter, and then back out. which, by the way, to describe this laboratory to people who don't have the maps, it is one main central laboratory lined with tables and a few cubicles, and then the entire perimeter of this laboratory on 3 sides, every side that isn't the main door, is lined with smaller rooms for more contained experiments.
And the slime show doesn't lead into any room, it just goes around.
So the tracks go into one room on the right at the very far back of the room. It's room 4305.
Oh, excellent. That was the room I wanted to go into.
Tell her, and then you can go in.
I'm like, Zippy!
Yes.
There's a little slime show that goes into that room, and that room only.
Let's start there. So we
Okay.
run into that room. Are these rooms as burned as the end, the middle area, or did they have kind of?
No, they've gotten like a quick treatment.
Okay.
To blow past,
Okay.
basically.
I basically had Gorky
A
just
light
do
blow job. Got it. Okay,
Yep.
moving on.
That's what I had him do.
Yeah. Just the tip.
Just we go into
We are in
4305.
room 4305 immediately.
Immediately. So you guys run past a bunch of lab tables and assorted equipment and charred corpses and things like that. It's a lot of fun. You see that this snail trail leads towards the back northern wall of the room. It just sort of stops, turns around, and goes back the way it came.
Wait, that's when I would cast my wand and be like, reveal
Girl, go
secret
off.
passages.
There is no secret passage,
Son of a bitch. I don't do that. Just kidding. I did do that.
but it does immediately point in the direction of a large desk in the room. And you can find, in similar fashion, there is a near identical secret drawer on this desk like there was on the floor 1 lobby.
Oh, the one that Stick helped me open.
Yes.
Okay. I break it open.
Okay, you just smash it.
I just
open
smashed the
finesse.
shit out
Right
of
on
it.
off finesse.
Oh,
Is it locked
I'm
or
so
something?
sorry. Okay, I tried to open it.
Is it locked?
It is locked, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Yeah,
in a hurry.
Go off, Queen. Break it.
Okay, I think about my friends who died. I think about Stick, who just walked into that monster.
Pours one out for the
And
homies.
suddenly my body is filled with rage. I'm not particularly a very strong human, but all of the sudden, I just...
Feel your feels. You let it out. You let it out.
I'm not going to make you roll. Okay, so you just smash through the top of this
It was
desk
a lot
to
of
the drawer.
rage. I was channeling Delilah.
Yeah,
and,
no, absolutely, and it works.
Oh, excellent news.
Inside this drawer are documents that have been intentionally kept confidential from the rest of the scientific team. So this laboratory seems to be mainly focused on the science of mimicry. And so from what you've seen from context clues, this lab seems to be focused on what are the limits of what this creature can replicate in its raw form. So different from the special projects room because they're trying to experiment with new capabilities and develop new ones. This laboratory is specifically trying to figure out what can this raw creature do before we've even touched it. The documents in this drawer have been kept under lock and key because several times throughout the papers, there are references to human beings being used as experiment material. Essentially, the heads of this lab have been using cadavers. Where they source those cadavers, it's not clear, to test the raw abilities of this screamer without the knowledge of the actual low-level scientists in this laboratory.
I do a history check to see if there's anything that might relate to my family line.
Go ahead, roll history.
14.
You definitively find that your family is nowhere mentioned in this laboratory.
Okay.
So as we're reading through, is anything standing out to us? Like, this is obviously shocking information, but we figured some pretty weird shit was going on in this place.
Roll with advantage.
I didn't see a Winthrop
Okay.
name in there, did I?
You do see Winthrop in there.
In what context?
One of the visiting, quote unquote, visiting philosophers.
Was it Richard?
Doesn't say the first name.
Ooh.
18.
Pin.
18? You begin pouring through these documents, and you find evidence in here that the dates of recorded lab accidents align very closely with the dates of cadavers being used in experimentation.
Oh.
Like they were staging the lab accidents and they were killing these
That's
people.
exactly what it looks like.
Okay.
Either this is a place with really regular lab accidents, or
Yeah.
these were being staged for the purpose of
And how
a
many
greater
how many
use.
people would
to
die in
cover
one of
up.
these lab accidents? One individual every time?
One individual at a time, maybe two, if it
Okay.
was like a huge accident.
Okay.
But you can see probably a total number of 20 or 25 cadavers used.
And Lucky's not mentioned in any of these pages or anything that
never
we know about
once.
his unit. Do you want these
His,
papers?
his unit would be deployed to clean up after the accident, but no.
Is there anything else that we need to get from these papers?
I'd say that's all you can glean. You pretty much have gotten everything you could get from these papers.
Okay, we know they're doing experiments with bodies and trying to hide it for some reason, and we also know that Winthrop was here.
No, but this is not surprising to us at all.
No.
At all.
Okay.
Okay, but we got to get in these other labs.
Okay, let's go.
You made me so I can't absorb more screamer, whatever it is that you've manipulated me into being.
And regaining speech slowly, he just responds, not without effort.
We're going to fix that. I know you have a way to make me better.
Oh, I don't know how I could make you better, Lucky Kurtzel.
I press down more on
Okay.
his neck.
You hear it kind of crunch in his neck bone. He goes, ah! Good. I assume you've spent some time in my special projects rooms. Yes?
Yeah.
You wasted your time. You could have been learning. You spent your time running, I presume.
Yeah, it was scary as shit in there.
To absorb is a base ability. It is primitive, mindless. Do not waste your time on things like this. You are greater than that.
Lucky starts to sing.
Oh.
He sings a chorus that he feels from inside. He reaches out with his hand and places it on the unformed flesh of the captain,
Oh, okay.
which starts vibrating and singing along with him in harmony.
Nobody knows me like you do.
Wow. Yeah, there goes that tension.
So sorry. It was in front of me, and I
Yeah.
feel like
It's
it would have
the
been
most
it would have been a sin.
appropriate song.
Twin,
Wait, does this happen?
where
though?
have you been?
I'm going to wait and hear what he says before I figure out what happens, because what the hell is happening?
Do you know what you're doing, or are you making this up?
He's trying something. He has a theory.
Yeah.
I have a theory.
Okay, yeah. I think we're on the same wavelength on this.
I use the song as a lure. I am pouring into this song, which is part Lucky's childhood,
Okay.
but part the embedded genetic memories of the screamer that I am formed from. And I am calling all of the other screamers that can hear me to join with the collective and become one with me.
If y'all could see David's face, his jaw's literally like on the floor, gagged. And you get extra points when you gag the dungeon master.
Okay, yeah.
What?
So you sing this song, and it echoes throughout the fortress at first. And then you begin to feel as your nerve endings are connected into the captain's severed nervous system.
Yeah.
And through that into the screamer, you begin to feel this song then reach beyond the fortress. And you can feel just so faintly and so tenuously a connection with things that are you but are not you. And they all hear you. And they know that you can hear them. They turn towards you and begin to seek you from across the world.
World?
World?
And then this expanded vision comes to a close, and you're back in the room again. But for just the briefest of moments, you had seen 15 others that looked just like you hear you.
How many did I connect with in the fortress? Because there was at least one up on the third floor.
Just roll for that.
And
Just a
Insight.
D20? Insight. 14.
At least 4 inside the fortress.
Can I communicate anything to them, or just I know that they're coming to me? Communicate to them. Okay. I can't
They
send
but they
anything
can
to them.
sense that you're calling.
They can sense that I'm calling. I look down at Kravitz and say, Busy little bee.
I try to be.
I let up the pressure on his throat a little bit.
Okay, and he says, no. All wrong. You want something from me, you take it. You reach in, you take the memories. It is time. Take what is yours, Lucky. You've won.
I cut his head off.
What? His head comes clean off. And as it rolls towards you, his eyes come to rest, facing up at you. He is no longer smiling, but his expression is one of fierce determination. It is as if these eyes are saying to you, look deeper.
The philosophers tell us that once a head is severed, it can still see and hear for 10 or 15 seconds. I just want you to know, you lost, and I'm going to liberate all of my brothers and sisters. And I pick up his head and place it in my satchel. Take a deep breath, wipe the blood off my short sword and sheath it. Look around, and my hand is melded into the screamer of the captain. And
Disgusting.
I drag that off the table with me and start pulling it into my body.
Oh, like fully absorbing it.
Fully absorbing it.
Okay, give me a Constitution saving roll.
Okay. 13.
Okay.
As I start absorbing it, the flesh creeps up my arm and my skeleton joins into his. His entire body that is now connected to mine splays out, sending tendrils out to touch every single piece of wriggling, writhing flesh, anything that we can touch that's organic matter that is alive. With my right hand, I reach out the other way and try to do this across the room. And so we attempt to merge every piece of flesh that we can get our hands on.
Roll a d60. What?
As this flesh shovels its way down into your center, you feel the strangest rush, like a high, like some combination of what your ancestors must have felt when killing a woolly mammoth, and something very, very alien, this foreign satisfaction, and you're able to overcome this sensation. But in attempting to consume the rest of the flesh on this floor, that feeling gives way to the nausea of the reality of what you're doing. You become instantly sick. As you expand further and further outward, these projects become older and older and older, and when you connect with them, you feel it almost like this wave of botulism fill your body, and you become completely sick and unable to extend these tendrils further. You have absorbed the captain, but nothing else.
Instead of using the bulk of the captain to just make myself a double-size human, I turn myself into a young adolescent dragon.
What?
Well,
I'm sick and tired, y'all.
what episode are we watching? What is this?
What is going on?
What is this?
With a screech and a roar, I feel my body extending out, lengthening out. My shoulder blades erupt out of the flesh and start to form into leathery wings. I am intimately familiar with their physiology. I have learned to care for them. I have raised dragons from pups. I have trained them. I know how to do this. I know
Alan,
what a
you're
dragon
fired.
is.
You're absolutely fired. You're off the podcast.
I need to be playing the game like this.
And you know what? While we're at it, we figure out all of, the secrets of the campaign.
Give me,
A break.
honestly, yeah, performance roll to see how convincing this dragon actually is.
Ooh.
Listen, I know a fuck ton about dragons. It's a 19. Not only is it convincing, I turn toward the ceiling and with all of the bravado and gumption and just kick-assery in my heart, I look straight up and spit fire at the ceiling.
That's so insanely sick. Nothing happens.
And I run over to the vault, and with my dragon claws, I fumble the keys out, and I start trying to get the keys into the vault as I'm slowly morphing back into just a big, really burly guy.
Okay, yeah.
That's funny.
Lovely.
And the last thing to change is the claws that are holding the keys. So I'm just like an idiot. Just like, grr, 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 grr.
You hear a voice from your satchel go, what the Just kidding, you don't. But if he can speak, yeah.
If it could speak, that's what it would
Be
say.
thinking and feeling.
It doesn't say that, but I hear it
You
because of my own self-loathing.
So we walk out the hallway and we look down the hall and we have laboratory 1 and laboratory 2.
And I'm like, Zippy, we got to cover some ground.
I agree.
And I head to the further laboratory 1.
Wait, where are you going?
You go to laboratory 2, I'll go to laboratory 1. Let's make some noise. If we need something, let's figure this out.
Zippy feels abandoned, but her face does not betray it. Okay, that sounds good. I was going to also suggest that.
really good job of face not betraying you. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you okay, Zip?
No, I'm good. It's fine.
Okay, let me know if you need something. And I hobble as quickly as I can.
I
with
reach
little
my
Mr.
hand for a high
Crabtree.
five.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I do not.
I wish I could do that noise.
Okay, so you go into laboratory 1 and I look at the doors of laboratory 2.
The doors of laboratory 2 are completely missing.
Okay.
It is much more clear what happened in this laboratory versus the others. There is so much destruction in this room, even pre-Dragonfire. You immediately surmise this was the room where the original breakout of the first Screamer occurred.
Okay.
Like the accident that made the entire fortress fall started here.
It is pretty messy.
Yes.
Okay, is there anything remaining? Like, are there any desks? Are there any rooms that I could, like, get into? It sounds
The
like...
rooms are in better condition than the central laboratory, which is just pretty much decimated.
Okay.
It's flattened. It's rubble.
Okay.
But the rooms on the perimeter, yeah, they're in better shape.
Do I see anything on the walls? Do I find anything in this?
You sort of follow the same pattern that you did in the first lab.
Right.
And you eventually find your way into the back room, 4206.
That's the one I felt like I should.
Yeah, I was getting like a really strong, like 42065
Oh, good,
from you.
good.
You do the same thing. Another desk, another identical hidden drawer.
Mm.
But you find that this lab was focused on the intelligence of these creatures. You can see that the most recent experiment that was occurring in the lab was focusing on this creature's development of human speech.
Mm.
And the findings were that this creature, while not incredibly intelligent as a base, it could, to a certain degree, absorb certain abilities of the creatures that it absorbed. And so it was capable of becoming rapidly intelligent. Potentially, they were surmising with their hypotheses, even more intelligent than a human being was, or an elf, or a dwarf, or any species on its own. And you find in these papers a plan.
Girl, you better spill that tea.
I quickly read it.
This was the office of 5 lead scientists. One of the names you recognize as Kravitz. And then there are 4 other names that you don't recognize, but they were clearly all working in tandem. And this plan was one to accelerate and maximize the intelligence of a Screamer. And it was all written out as a hypothetical,
Okay.
not like something they would actually do.
Like a dream board situation.
Yeah, like a dream board situation.
Cutouts from magazines,
Yeah,
just pasted
seriously.
together.
Their theory was that they could accelerate the process of natural selection by setting the Screamers loose in a wild environment.
Oh, and it would be able to detect what had higher intelligence or what it wanted to absorb to...
If they were to set loose a group of, say, 20 Screamers into the wild, a particularly difficult environment to survive, if those Screamers were able to make it back home to the meteor, then those would be the survival of the fittest. They were thinking we could streamline the process of evolution by repeatedly sending these Screamers out into harsh environments, and the ones that survive are the ones we duplicate. And they were hypothesizing with beginning that process with the fortress, letting a Screamer loose on floor 1 and seeing which ones would make it back to them. All
not
hypothetical.
No, they weren't even required, like suggesting to do it out in the world. It was like just let it loose within the
that
facility.
was stage 1, and then they were experimenting with expanding the reach of these things as time went on.
Knowing that they would always return home.
Yes, that meteor, that asteroid, serves as a homing beacon for these screamers. They will always try to return home.
Okay.
And so they presumed that the farther and farther they put these things away, the ones that made it home would be stronger and stronger and stronger. And so that was their hypothetical hypothesis, but obviously this would be really concerning to the other scientists in the lab. So this project was kept under lock and key. The human speech development was experimenting with the idea of, could this creature survive a human environment and still make it back home?
Interacting with other humans.
Exactly. Not
like
just
4 other humans.
like
that are
4
just
other
wet.
humans, like
Got
maybe
it.
potentially. Would it be not just the brute strongest, but the most socially intelligent?
No.
That
The
was-
answer was no.
That was their grand scheme, is could we make these things indistinguishable from humans?
Well, shit balls. All right.
So you pull out these 5 keys, and you can see on the key ring,
Yeah.
these 5 keys are attached to ID badges, and only one of those is Kravitz's. So these keys had once belonged to 5 different people. All 5 keys fit in the locks, and they all turn in unison. And as this vault door opens like an air seal with a you see the very first and closest to you is 3 men who look exactly like you did,
Okay.
all waiting in a cube container of amniotic fluid.
Oh.
Okay.
On the opposite side of the vault are 4 cowering scientists,
Alive.
alive. And in the back of the vault, covered head to toe in chains, is a dragon.
It's Gorky! And I immediately, with joy in my heart, just say, Gorky! And I go running in there because I don't remember that he doesn't know who the I am.
He doesn't, but only one calls him Gorky. So you hear this rattling voice from the back go,
Son of a bitch.
definitely derogatory, but just a tiny bit of a hint that he missed you.
That's my guy. Okay. What's keeping these chains locked on him? Are there locks, keys?
Yeah, held
Can I
into
just-
like massive holds, like cleats drilled into the ground of the vault.
And then like giant chrome steel locks
Mm-hmm.
like holding this on there. I assume these 4 guys are the 4 other
From the ID badges,
from the
yeah.
ID badges, and I call them each by name because I looked at their badges.
Okay, they're horrified at
Yeah.
that.
Hey, you guys got to help me unlock this dragon. It's the only way we're going to get out of here, and it's the only way we can stop what's about to happen. It's not what you built.
So the guy that looks the nerdiest,
Hot.
the remaining leader of the group, just puts his face into his hands and goes, "What sick game is this? I can't take this anymore."
Guys, I'm Lucky Kurtzel. I was the dragon rider. Gorky knows me, sorta, until your fucking boss put me in himself like a tool. Also, I ate another guy, so I'm kind of really huge right now. I don't normally look this big. But we need to unlock this dragon. I need to get upstairs and see if I can do something. Bad shit is happening. We need to stop it right away.
Okay, so one of the scientists in the back that's been sitting in the corner hasn't even gotten up yet. She says, "Prove it? Maybe?
Prove what?
That you are who you say you are. Do you have any idea how tired we are of your stupid games, Kravitz? Let us die or let us go."
Gorky, tell him.
Gorky leans his head down as far as he can towards you, takes a sniff, and goes,
He's a lot ranker than usual, but that's him.
Let's go. Time's a wasting.
"Okay, the guy at the head seems to sort of believe you, and the rest of them resign themselves to playing along with this new game, whatever it is, until it ends. Okay, what do we need to do?"
We need to unlock Gorky. Gorky, we're not going to burn them alive, right?
No promises.
Gorky, we cannot burn them alive yet. I don't know what these guys did. Presumably horrible, but we're not going to kill them until we fix some shit. Cool?
Cool.
You guys search the room for the keys to unlock all of Gorky's padlocks. You find them. You unlock Gorky. Chains come slopping off. Gorky stretches his wings finally for the first time in weeks, and you can see that his wings have been clipped.
Those f***ers.
Tell me about it.
I think I got a solve for that.
Don't get any f***ing ideas. I know what your ideas are like. Cause your last goddamn idea got me in this goddamn vault, Lucky.
Fair. We got to get up to the 4th floor, and the fastest way to get there is going to be straight up.
Now that I can do.
And he saunters his way out of the vault and just blows a massive fireball into the ceiling.
I look over at the scientists. I don't trust you f***ers as far as I can throw you. I step out the door and slam the vault shut.
Let's just cut through the whole long stuff.
Yeah, okay, fine.
What do I find in the secret compartment?
You know exactly where to go. You find your way into room 4104, back corner of the room, same deal. This lab is in the best condition of all of them. Seems like Gorky just did this thing a once-over, but it was actually fine.
I cast Pass Without Trace.
Okay. Crack the drawer, open it up, find the secret experiments. This was the philosopher's room.
Winthrop.
So you finally start to put together why Lucky has been repeatedly saying scientists and philosophers in this sort of generic way. This entire project has been some strange fusion of science and philosophy. The main question, and you see Kravitz's name all over the place in here. Yes, he was
Just
the
graffiti.
Just graffiti. Kravitz was here in spray paint all over the walls.
What a nerd.
You find that Kravitz, while yes, being a scientist, was actually in search of a philosophical pursuit. The reason he was trying to make these creatures more intelligent is because his grand question, his great pursuit, was at what point does a creature gain a soul? And can that be done artificially?
The artificial development of soul.
Artificial harvesting and farming of souls. Apparently it did work. Oh, was Lucky soul taken out of him and put into another thing, or was it
if
created
he's a
artificially?
screamer, he has a soul, and it went with us.
And this is the question, is you can find that already they've been able to create a screamer hybrid, and that hybrid survives, i.e., for example, they were experimenting on pigs. They were able to create something that was part pig and part screamer that lived, but it wasn't something new, and it wasn't something that could replicate itself. The analogy they use is when you combine a horse and a donkey, you get a mule, but you can't make more mules from that. They're dead-end experiments. Their goal was, can we create an entirely new creature that is self-replicating? And would that then be an artificial soul? And the question of these philosophers is, where do these lines blur? And at what point is this nature versus man's making? And if you were to make something new, would that thing have a soul? Or would it be this entirely soulless creature? More questions. It's a rabbit hole. What does a soul mean? If a creature's born without a soul, can it still obtain morality? Can it still make decisions? Can it still have charity? And all of these philosophers are working together with the scientists to prep for every possible contingency in case these experiments were to go haywire. And in these documents, you find several times the name of your grandfather, Cornelius Borgion.
Cornelius, that
Cad.
wow. What is the context? Is he a philosopher?
Yes. A very wealthy philosopher that was funding a significant portion of this wing of research.
I don't see anything about Winthrops in there either.
No, not in here.
Because I can imagine the Winthrops being interested because of the need from a family sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, so it's could we hack the system? Maybe there's probably more there.
They just were not as interested in the philosophy side of things.
They just wanted souls to harvest.
Interesting.
So
Can I gather any other reasons or any implications that my grandfather had in involvement or anything like that?
Yes, he wanted to purchase whatever they were able to create.
So he was the buyer for whatever the product.
He was funding it because if they could successfully create a replicating hybrid, he wanted it.
Daddy Warbucks over there was the money behind this whole scheme.
Are we artificial souls?
I run over to Gorky and go, "You feel like climbing?"
He looks down at you as, stones cascade around him, and he just goes,
That's cold. I like it.
I grab onto one of the plates that, come down his spine that like stick out as armor plates. I grab onto it and I go, let's rip.
Gorky attempts to take to the sky. By the skin of his teeth, he is able to make it up onto floor 4.
I have memories of the 4th floor, but I don't know which room I'm coming into.
Got you. You burst into the main atrium. And after forcing your way through a bunch of collapsed scaffolding that had been blocking the door, not too hard since you have a dragon, you can see that in the middle of all of these flames that are just beginning to die down is now one final screamer, like barely larger than a pickup truck, rolling across the floor trying to put these flames out.
I look at Gorky and say, hey man, I know you don't trust me, but trust me.
You hear a little voice behind you just go,
I hope he fucking dies.
And I sprint out towards the screamer and leap on top of it. And as I'm leaping over the top of it, I sink both of my hands into it. Like I spread my fingers out and just sink both of my hands into it. As soon as I can make contact with whatever is inside of it, I just say, I'm so sorry I tried to stop them. We're not all like them.
give me a disadvantaged persuasion roll.
Okay. 6.
Oof.
This mass is Screamer in its rawest form.
Mm-hmm.
What you had encountered up until this point was far more refined, far more developed, far more evolved, I guess.
Just messed up by Kravitz and his cronies.
Yes.
Turned more human, but also presumably more dangerous worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hybridized and bastardized and whatever it took to make this thing more useful.
Got it, yeah.
And so in attempting to communicate with this creature, yes, you feel the same fear as before, but you no longer sense the malice or the anger. It is just absolutely, even in this moment, overcome with raw hunger. And that is all you are able to glean, is nothing but an impenetrable wall of starving hunger.
Do I feel anything else inside of it?
Give me an insight roll.
9.
Delilah, you get 3 words.
Don't feel bad.
Oh.
Lucky starts ripping and clawing at this thing. He transforms his hands into just essentially bone cleavers to try and get at Delilah. He is desperate to get her out of there.
I don't even know what to tell you. Roll for strength.
9.
You just begin tearing into this thing, ripping it to shreds and chunks as it falls apart, and you can't find anything of her that is her.
Lucky shreds this last screamer down to just ribbons, just cuts it apart, and just starts screaming. Ah! No! No, Delilah! No! No! Delilah! It should have been me. It should have been me. And he just collapses onto his knees and his hands, and just hangs his head and just weeps.
You guys hear a horrible, agonized scream from Lucky come from the atrium.
I sprint into the hallway. And
Oh,
look
to
for
go find Zippy?
Yeah, I'm Zippy!
I also sprint into the hallway, but I can't see anybody else in the hallway.
But you do hear, Zippy!
Posey, where are you?
And the shadow kind of materializes a bit where you can see me.
Posey, you're right in front of me.
And what she doesn't realize,
Posey.
I also cast Pass Without a Trace on her, too.
I look
That's the
down at
thing.
my own body, and I'm just a floating dragon. Because it didn't work on her.
I like that. It never works on Pepper.
Okay, and I'm like, did you hear that?
That was lucky.
Let's find him. I run
And I follow
into, so now we're at Laboratory 1 at the
One.
opposite end, and we head into
Round
the
the
entrance
corner.
that's like right around the corner.
Yeah, so you'd be utilizing the same entrance as the one from the galley.
Yeah.
Yeah, we recognize we can see the way that we got into the atrium
Yep,
before up there.
and you get in the exact same way.
Right.
Okay.
You burst in and you see at the far end of the room, exactly where Stick died, you see Lucky bent over the absolute shreds of the last remaining Screamer. I mean, there isn't a chunk bigger than a foot wide on this entire thing, and Lucky is just covered in viscera and now silently weeping on his knees.
What does he look like? Does he because we haven't seen him in a long time. Does he look tore up? Does he
He's-
look,
Has he grown up? Has he matured at all?
I mean, how's his hair?
He's 50% bigger than he's supposed to be.
So
thick-
this is not
Thickly
right.
musced.
Okay,
Yeah.
So-
Lucky dropped the routine.
Okay,
Damn.
okay.
But that's the
And
the
we've
only
only been separated for hours. Okay.
yeah, a day probably.
Day.
I approach very carefully and I look at Posey and I tell him to almost approach, like, because we are still Pass Without a Trace. He can't see us. So we want to get close to him, but I want to pour some of that salt on him and see if
What?
he'll-
Wait, what?
Remember all the salt we have from our pockets?
Yeah, but like, how do you know he's not?
He's double the size. He's screeching. And so without,
He also
Not
just
screeching,
murked.
crying.
He also just murked that monster.
I know,
so he's
but
like
I-
in grief.
I saw that shit in Stick's eyes. And so now I'm not trusting
Yeah.
anybody. And so I want to put this on
Okay,
him.
well, I'd say,
Okay.
how about you hold tight and stay hidden and let me approach. And if
What if he
something goes
kills
down,
you?
you have
Wait,
the
we're
dragon
whispering
fire
in the corner, and I'm like,
you have the dragon fire.
I'm
You got
gonna
you got my back. If something happens,
I'm
you
just
just
going
like.
to sprinkle some salt on him. It's not going to hurt him. It might just flavor him out. He needs some seasoning. Let's be honest. The man is a little bland.
Do we even know if salt? We don't even know if salt like hurts the screamers.
Well, when you put it on something that we had injuries, it reacted.
Yeah,
I
let's
said,
just-
"Listen, Posey," and I turn around and I run up there.
No. Okay.
Lucky, roll a Constitution saving throw.
It's not going to kill him. It'll just hurt. It'll just react.
Can you imagine Lucky dies? That would be so.
8.
Yeah.
Okay. Take a D4 of damage, and you lose 10% of your body mass.
Oh, okay. He shrinks down a little bit. Okay.
Zippy.
Hey, this is a weight loss. I'm going to patent this shit when I get home.
Okay.
I will be a billionaire and you will want to be my friend then. Trust me.
I actually don't know. I don't know what to think at this point because even though all that stuff has gone down with Lucky, I haven't witnessed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lucky, is that you? Because we have been seeing a lot of monsters and we don't want to take any chances. And Delilah's dead, which I think you might realize.
And we found some shit.
I couldn't save her. I couldn't.
How do we know you're... Oh, the captain was a screamer.
I'm a screamer, guys.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
And
so
a part of me sloughs off through the back of my coat.
what?
Oh.
Just all of the extra mass of my body sloughs off through the back of my coat and like pools onto the floor. And I look around and I go, they made me. I don't know what I am.
You've always
I'm-
been a screamer?
Yeah. When I died, I went to the same place as you. So I don't know what that means.
Okay, Lucky, I am so sorry. We have a lot to cover, but I do not know. I don't know if you're the same guy we've always known.
We have to get there. We have to go to sleep. We have to get back to Mother Death so that we can get Delilah. She's gone. I couldn't get her out of...
Delilah tried to kill Stick. He sacrificed himself to save us. So stop crying over that horrible little child and pull your shit together so we can all get out of here.
Maybe I should pull back a little bit.
No,
A lot has happened.
Zippy's right. There's more information we need to get from the 5th floor.
You made it to the 5th floor?
I reach into my satchel and I pull out Kravitz's head.
Is that?
You?
This is what they modeled me off of.
Who is that?
I don't know, but they chose right. He looked kind of good, though.
I mean,
This is Dr. Kravitz. This entire project was his.
Yes. Okay.
He's going to tell us everything we need to know, but you're not going to like watching me do it. we need to go down to the 5th floor because there are some scientists down there that we need to talk to, and there's a little bit more information we need to get before we can leave this godforsaken hellhole. By the way, meet Gorky.
This entire time, we had not noticed that there was a humongous dragon
He's
standing
chilling on the
there.
ceiling. Like
We look up. Nice to meet you.
Pepper shits her pants.
No, Pepper is doing backflips, twists. She's so excited. Like, she is literally like elated, fangirling out on my shoulder.
I just am unsure.
No, I get it.
I cast locate object on all the weaponry that was familiar to me that Lucky carried. Magic stone, the
And there
thing he
it
got
is,
from death.
right in front of you, all on his person.
Okay, Lucky, I know there's a lot for you too. There's a lot for us.
Yeah, no,
and
I get it.
And I'm like, Zippy, everything that's attached to him is...
I step close to you, like really close to your face, and I start to look at his skin. Can I see any of the scars from all the impaling?
The pinprick scars.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, especially on his face, but all over his body. You see these tiny little pinprick scars, like needle holes.
Okay.
I just look at his eyes with recognition. I say, Posey, it's him.
Well, okay, what do we need to do? Is Gorky like really battered up too? and
Gorky's
stuff?
okay. He has wounds that have healed over, and his wings have been clipped, but he doesn't have any current injuries or open wounds on him.
I'm immediately very pissed that he's been treated like this.
Before we head down, I want to try something really quick, guys. I don't know how to prepare you for this. It's probably going to be pretty gross. Hey, Gorky, come down here. I think I can help.
He does not move from the ceiling. He says,
I swear to God, if you touch me with those tendrils, I'm gonna kill you. That's disgusting.
I think I can fix your wings, buddy.
Tendrils?
he stops and thinks about it for a good long while. And this is clearly something he's been thinking about long and hard for the last 8 weeks. And very hesitantly, he drops down onto the floor in front of you.
If this shit starts crawling up me, I'll burn you alive, alright?
But you can see a little bit of fear in his eyes.
I nod approvingly.
You can burn it out of yourself if you need to. If you need to burn me alive, fine. This is going to feel really weird. And I have him fold his wings forward to where the like pinions are clipped.
Uh-huh.
Just right in front of him so they're almost touching.
Yeah.
And I stick my foot back into the pile of goo that just came off of me.
Oh.
And I place a hand on each wing right at the joint, and I absorb the screamer flesh material. It travels up my back, up my arms, and onto his wings. But as it goes onto his wings, I command the screamer flesh to form the new tendons that are needed to replace the ones that they clipped, and fix the scarred tissue where they clipped the leather of his wings and made a gap so that he can't fly. And I command the flesh to do that and essentially become his flesh and leave its screamerness behind.
Roll a d20.
He goes to roll.
D100.
Yeah.
Roll medicine.
Is it a 1? No way, it's a 1.
No, it's a 3.
Can I help him?
That's
would
2
it,
away from 1.
So you can see it begins working, but then as soon as this screamer flesh disconnects from your hand, it gains a will of its own and just starts trying to absorb this poor dragon's wings.
Oh, gosh.
I see that and immediately reach my hands up and dig my fingers into the flesh of his wings and start pulling it back out, and whatever damage it would have taken, I try to absorb that damage onto myself and like suck it back out of him.
Oh, okay, yeah. Do another medicine roll.
13. And while I'm doing that, I say, Zippy, it didn't work. I need your
I
help.
can
You got to
see
heal
that.
him.
I run over to him and get your weird shit off this guy.
And I pull it off and just dump it
Just
onto the
look
floor.
at him with complete disgust. What in the actual hell was that?
Well, these wounds are... They're 8-week-old wounds. They're scarred over. I didn't think healing would work.
Gross. And I turn around and I look at this massive dragon and I say, may I?
For what it's worth, Gorky, I trust her.
Also, Gorky, if you don't mind, I'm going to jump on here too. I'm a druid. I can heal
Oh,
also.
yeah, you can as well.
For what
Tag
it's
team
worth,
him?
Gorky, I trust him slightly less. But only slightly.
Gorky is not happy about this, but seeing that he doesn't have any other options, both of you cast your spells.
I do 4.
6.
So you do heal him 10 HP. You see some slight improvement in this scarred, torn tissue, but you realize it's going to take something more than what you've got right now to be able to mend these wings.
But probably not to flight.
Not in any clear, distinguishable way, but it helped, and Gorky can see that it helped.
Okay.
So he eases up a little bit. I mean, Gorky's already more of a fan of you because you got the little fire dragon on your shoulder. He knows that's his fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I just whisper in his ear, just so you know, her name's Pepper Hotz. It's Pepper Hotz.
He immediately dislikes you.
He goes,
just kidding.
He goes,
That's a ass name. I like it.
Do we need to get down to level 5?
Let's go. Catch me up on what you guys have been up to, and you're going to learn everything I learned when we're down on level 5.
Delilah has been trying to kill. Since you were gone, I basically died. Delilah didn't give a shit. She tried to kill Stick.
She killed you?
I died. And by sheer
But he got better.
Zippy, yeah, and a good night's rest. But Delilah was out of control, just like rabid dog. She literally killed Stick. He pushed her in the mass to essentially save not just himself, but us. And then he sacrificed himself for us.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's messy out here in the streets.
We looked in the laboratories as well, and we discovered that they've been not only staging laboratory accidents or situations so that they could kill people without much questioning being asked, and
so
they would go
test the bodies.
and test the bodies.
Yeah.
And we found out that they've been trying to harvest artificial souls in this philosophical branch. Yes, they've been trying to create. Remember that whole harvesting Mother Death thing? That note that we saw about harvesting? This is definitely tied to it.
That's what I am.
Are you sure?
Well, he has a soul. He's been with us.
But you existed before you were this thing, right?
I remember a life before, but I don't know if that was mine or if it was even real. I don't know if Lucky Kurtzel ever existed.
Okay, so besides
we have no evidence of me before here.
None at all.
Do we? I have a ton of memories.
Oh, then where did those come from?
They built me. They could build memories, right?
Do you have a family? Like, you have memories of these people. Like, can they vouch for what you were before we met you?
We can write them a letter, but they're across the Eastern Sea. It'll be months before we hear back.
All right, friends, I'm starting to feel like this whole solve our murders thing is definitely a bigger part of something else. We're not just solving our murders. We're getting information for whatever they're trying to do.
We're doing something for Mother Death, and I don't like it.
And we're at the center of this somehow. My granddad's name was all over the philosophical documents. He was involved with this. Winthrop was also involved.
Anything from you? And
Ziffindale is the last name I chose for myself because I don't know who my father was. And
oh, shit.
My mother abandoned me, and so I chose the name Ziffindale. But that's not my real family name.
So what are we trying to figure out on this 5th floor?
There are some scientists that I locked in the vault, and we're going to interrogate them, and they're going to give us every scrap of information that they have, or Gorky gets to eat.
You guys arrive down on the 5th floor. From what you see what Lucky saw before. This entire floor, like the 4th floor, had been dug down deeper than the original fortress. It's essentially a cave. A cave that had been, up until pretty recently, been used for purely storage. This was like the archival unit of the fortress. Only the center section of this floor had been repurposed as a makeshift laboratory. And fairly recently, from what you can tell. You reach the middle of the floor and are greeted by the artist formerly known as Kravitz's lab. And at the end of the wall, at the far wall, you see the vault.
So there's a lot of information down here.
A lot of information down here.
I approached Kravitz's work table that he was working at, trying to make another captain. And I specifically am looking for, does he keep a bottle of scotch or brandy or something in any of the drawers?
Roll investigation with advantage.
Also, does he have one of those secret drawers on his desk?
We just go to the desk and we know exactly where the secret drawers are now.
We just look for the secret drawers.
So
we don't even open the other drawers ever anymore. We just go for the secret drawers.
There aren't any like real tables on this floor except for the lab tables that subjects are strapped to. He's like using crates and things as tables and organizers.
Wow, that hidden.
Yeah.
He's slumming it.
Also probably just didn't want to carry a billion things up and down the stairs. So any documents he has are just left out in the open for you.
I rolled a 25, by the way.
Jeez.
On my investigation.
Okay, remind me what you're looking for again so I can just tell you everything.
Booze.
What? Are you kidding? That was the time to say information. Are you... But Zippy is proud of his answer.
Yeah.
Shona's really pissed.
Kravitz was a big fan of scotch, and you can find a crate of it not too far away.
Of course, this pretentious fucker. And I open up a bottle and just chug.
Oh, chug?
Yeah, 5, 6 big swallows. And then I cap the bottle and stick it and another one in my pouch next to Kravitz's head.
Jeez.
I am immediately scouring over the papers, and I roll a history check to see which paper has been maybe most used or something that's been like important in placement or in treatment.
Okay. Kravitz's papers, the further down you go, the more coherent they get. It seems like the last few months, really, but especially weeks, have had a drastic effect on his sanity. It's basically chicken scratch at the top of these piles. But you can make out, more so from the older documents than the newer ones, Kravitz truly believed he had succeeded in the production of the first artificial soul. He makes a vague statement about the experiment being a success, but there being unforeseen complications. And he is now seeking to replicate his results.
How you not gonna put that down on your notes, playa? Get detailed. Like, what are your unforeseen complications? You just...
The unforeseen complication is I killed everybody.
You?
I blew up the whole fucking fortress. That's the complication.
Oh, with Gorky.
Yeah.
How did you die?
We're going to go find out. And I walk over to the vault.
You crack the door open, using the keys still in the locks, and you are greeted again by 3 sleeping lucky replicants and the 4 scientists.
Shooketh. Like, what the dungeon daddy creepy stuff is going on here? 3 luckies? Are they wearing clothes?
No.
I know your junk looks like.
Yep. And it is
Lord works in mysterious ways.
impressive.
Okay, so we see these
Gospel music plays in the background.
these scientists.
Mm-hmm. Clearly, Kravitz has been messing with their minds for weeks.
Yeah. And I walk in and say, "Hey, shitheads, it's me, your unholy master. These are my friends."
I just wave.
I'm like, nice to meet you. You
Okay,
guys all look very lovely.
team lead just flips you off.
Your home is lovely.
So here's the thing. You're going to tell us everything that I want to know, or my buddy Gorky's going to come eat you.
The head guy looks at you and says, "So like we participate in whatever bullshit scheme this is, or we get to die."
Get to die. I immediately say, we're going to help you get whatever you want if you enable us to put an end to what you're experiencing and also the shenanigans here.
I reach into Lucky's pocket and pull out the half-corked whatever bottle of thing, and I offer it to them, and also want to roll for charisma. We and him are going into soothe this mode because I don't feel like Lucky's...
You guys are playing good cop?
Good cop,
yeah,
bad
we're
cop.
good cop, bad coping the shit out of this, but I'm offering him the whiskey, but also trying to persuade them, listen, we know that you're victims of this psychopath as well.
And if you'd like to die, we can help you do that. But at the end of the day, we want this to end.
Another scientist speaks out from the back. "I want to go home, man. That's all I want."
You want to go home?
Of course. I haven't seen my family in weeks.
What's your name?
Benjamin.
And I reach out the whiskey to him. Benjamin, take a drink and tell us what you know.
Okay, deep glogs. And he says, "Okay." He looks at the head in your hand and he's like, "I'm assuming you've met Kravitz, or some version of him. Honestly, I'm not convinced that you're not Kravitz. Point being, we developed a hypothetical experiment, okay? Hypothetical, we were never going to do it, but we were just thinking, what if we set the Screamers loose, let them do what they were going to do, and come back home?"
You'll never guess what Kravitz did, Benjamin.
No, yeah, we know. That's why he put us in the vault. He really liked our creative thinking methods, or whatever bullshit he called it.
Why did you think they would come back?
They always come back. As far as we send them, we've sent them hundreds of miles, and they keep coming back. It's like they're pulled to it.
Posey, they're coming back to the meteor. Is it a meteorite once it hits the ground?
It's a meteorite once it hits
it's
the
on
ground.
They've come back to the meteorite.
Shit, I came back. How do we stop them from coming back?
You can't.
Or do we want them to all come back?
Taylor says, "Well, do you want them not to come back? Don't you want them home? Don't you want them here?"
Yes, but I guess my question is, how is that happening?
Yeah, whatever this thing is, and he points in the direction of the meteorite, it's their home.
Does it heal them? Does it make them stronger?
Shit, no. Whatever we do to them, the only way they heal is by absorbing.
Lucky, how do you feel about this meteorite?
I can hear its song.
blech.
Okay.
It's sort of just like a low frequency humming. Almost like hypnotizing.
A mother's heartbeat.
Listen, here's what we know. We don't know how it works. We don't know why it works. But they leave when they're hungry, and they come back when they're full. They're animals, just like everyone else.
Who are the other two scientists? Can you give a brief description of the two that haven't spoken?
Yeah. They're two ladies. Both of them brunette and obviously not in great shape. Very kind of skinny and sallow faces.
Sure. So what do you do here?
Well, like everyone else, I was on the intelligence unit. We were studying how to make these creatures more intelligent, more wise, potentially being able to replicate the capabilities of other intelligent species like humans and elves.
And the point of this was to what? Create weapons you can control?
Weapons is a simplistic
Slave
term.
labor? What are we looking at?
Again, a simplistic term for what we're trying to do. You know how harsh the world is out there. I'm sure you do. All we are attempting to do is give ourselves a leg up for the next time hardship comes. We as a species weren't built to survive what's coming. And why are we wrong to prepare ourselves?
What is coming?
At this point, she realizes she said too much and sits back in a heap.
I just nod at Gorky.
Wait, I sit down next to her before Gorky.
Okay.
Gorky can do
Gorky comes flying in, but if you sit down next to her,
I'm sitting next
he's
to her,
gonna
and I
pause.
just say, "Does the word kaifan mean anything to you?"
If I tell you this, will you let me go home?
You have my word.
The worse Kravitz became, the more he spoke of Kaifon. And the more he spoke, the less sense it seemed to make. But he seemed to believe Kaifon was coming. And we needed to prepare. My hypothesis is Kaifon may be a second asteroid. Perhaps there's another wave of these creatures coming. It's impossible to tell from what he's said so far, but he seemed convinced that calamity was approaching, and it was our duty to perform these experiments to save humankind. I know you think I'm a monster, but the sacrifices we made are nothing compared to what will happen if one of these things is set loose upon the world.
But they don't distinguish. They kill humans. You can't control them.
Yes,
clearly.
yes, they kill humans in their raw form, but what if we made them better? What if we made them like us? What if we made them
Like
one
Lucky.
with us?
Like Lucky.
Like you.
Why did you feel like you couldn't tell us that? Why do you feel like you said too much?
Because she's a monster, and we have to kill her. We can't let these people live. They'll keep trying to do it.
Because people pay us very well to keep quiet.
Does the name Borgion ring any bells?
Yes.
My name is Posey Borgion. Did you know my grandfather Cornelius?
I am your
I am your grandfather. Peels the face off.
One for you pesky kids.
I know his name, not his face.
Okay, spill the tea, damn.
He's our funder. He's our benefactor.
I go into my head, that little voice of Kaifon that's been so muted.
Uh-huh.
What is it? Does it sound any different? Feel any different?
Ooh, you're going to need to do a roll for that.
What roll? History?
Sanity?
Nature.
I wish there was a sanity roll. I guess it would be a
Persuasion.
constitution saving roll. And then if you can survive that, maybe you'll hear something.
Constitution saving roll.
Oh, no.
Nat 1. 2. It's actually 2, though. It's actually 2.
No, it's a nat one.
It's a
But
nat
it was
one. You try to tune into the voice of Kaifon and are immediately overwhelmed. He is screaming one word, but it is so loud, you feel your eardrums burst. Not in any real physical way, but you're going to find yourself unable to process information for the next turn.
So Kaifon's strong here.
Roll investigation to see if you hear what the word is.
18. Immediately, my eyes roll up in the back of my head. I grab my head. I slink down to my knees and double over in pain.
Zippy, help him. F***ers, get out.
I roll my eyes
We're
and
done.
walk over and
Okay.
kill Posey again. But I also
Constantly.
start drinking some of the whiskey when I don't
Yeah.
think that
As you
Lusky
walk
and Lucky's
past me,
looking.
I grab it from you.
Damn it! I
And I
walk
take
over.
a huge swig.
There's probably not much left because I
Okay,
gave
so-
a lot to them.
Y'all are taking that
Ta-
whole thing pretty well, actually.
I just find it funny how like they were all talking and then Posey just suddenly goes,
You're like, oh, he wants attention
I
again.
know. I don't even ask what happened. I just walk over to you and I start casting Cure Wounds.
So you're letting us go. No games.
I'm not Kravitz. But if I see you again, I'll kill you.
He turns and walks off. Come on, guys.
This is a limited time offer. Get out.
The four of them single file out of the vault, head on up the stairs. And the farther they get from you, the quicker they become as the realization of your honesty sets in. There's one more thing that Kravitz kept saying in the last days. I'm not sure if it's helpful to you. I thought it was ravings, but it seems like everything's important. He repeated this phrase to me once, twice now. The power of a soul lies in its memories. If it can give you any answers as to this artificial production process or what it is that Lucky is, I hope that aids you somehow.
Thank you.
Okay, so I look around. Is there anything that I can feed to Gorky?
Are you sure I can't just eat one of them?
But you're free, man. You can go. I know there's goats up in the mountains. If you can get to them.
You are setting me free.
Yeah.
My rider. Or letting me go.
Unless you want to stay.
He leans in real close, like nose to nose.
Yeah.
Hot.
He's going to roll an insight because he is baffled by this behavior. You can see him looking into your eyes, clearly trying to figure out, is this really the Lucky I knew? Results are inconclusive. You see a flash in his eyes, and then he just says,
This is the most I've f***ing liked you since we met,
Well, that makes one of us.
bitch.
and he launches off up through the hole in the ceiling.
Okay, I think I start getting off the ground now, right?
Yeah. You're coming to your senses again.
I'm like, woo, I don't know what happened here, but Kaifon is strong in this hoe.
I think I'll have you take a d4 of psychic damage, actually.
Why would you do that to me? His
Presence
presence
is
is huge
close.
here. And it has to be the meteorite. And also, he was saying something, he was screaming gift. Should I go back and see if I can glean anything else?
No, you should not.
No. We've got one more thing to learn here, and then we're getting the hell out of this place, and we're never coming back.
We still got to figure out how you died.
We're about to.
Wait.
And I take the head and I set it on the table, and I put my hand on it, and I go, Zippy, you probably won't want to watch this.
I look away.
And the flesh of my hand melts into the scalp of his head, and I get my fingers down into his brain.
I am
And
living.
I use the flesh to like seal off the wound on the bottom of his head, and I start
That just gave me the shivers.
pumping flesh into a small bag underneath him that creates essentially a small set of lungs
Ew.
and a small heart, and I feed my own blood and like glucose and everything into his brain so that it starts functioning, and
So
his
you're making
face,
a homunculus out of his head.
his face wakes up.
I'm like, Zippy, I don't know how you're not watching this. This is amazing.
So you're trying to talk directly to Kravitz.
I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to let this guy back inside my brain. I'm just going to talk to him because it seemed like he wanted to talk, but I wasn't feeling it before.
Okay.
I'm feeling it now.
Roll medicine with advantage because this is your flesh.
Hella good thing I got advantage. That's a nat 20.
No
my son.
way!
Yes.
That was not going to be an easy check either.
Yeah.
Because that first roll was not your friend.
No.
Okay.
He peeks through her hands with one eye.
And you see a flesh mound topped by Kravitz's head open its eyes.
I immediately regret it and I close both my eyes.
Kravitz opens his eyes and looks up at you with that familiar but even now more enhanced sense of adoration. I knew you'd come back.
Yeah. You're a sack of meat on a table. You made me. I was your big success. I obviously have a soul because I died and went to the afterlife and came back.
You went to the
Congratulations.
afterlife. You saw it.
Yeah. Did you make my soul or did you steal it from Lucky? Is there another Lucky with a soul running around and you built me from scratch? Or am I just transferred?
When I first saw Lucky burst through that door, his eyes glinting with dragon fire. It was like beholding the angel of death. And I knew he was the one to be strong enough to handle the transformation. Alas, the Lucky I met did pass away. What I created was something new. You are Lucky Kurzel, but you are not. You are greater. You are evolution. And you saw the afterlife. Promise me this. Before you kill me again, let me know you saw it. That you saw her.
You failed. I'm nothing.
I don't believe you.
I withdraw the life support from his head and I let him die.
The head goes back to its deadened state.
I turn around and I look at Posey and Zippy and I polish off the bottle of whiskey and chuck it over my shoulder.
You are so damn dramatic. Oh my God.
I know.
And I say,
Gotta set that down.
there's nothing more we can learn here.
You probably should have asked him how or why he killed originally you while you had him alive. But
We know that he killed me.
how?
Who cares?
All right.
What do you mean, who cares?
I feel like Mother Death cares, and that's why she sent us here.
He killed me doing an experiment on me. Or he killed me because he'd finally created something that had a soul and he wanted to see if the soul would go to heaven. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I walk over and look at those three little creatures that look a lot like him. Do they look alive? What are they doing?
They are, like, their hearts are beating.
What can I break the thing with? I want to just break it and light it on fire. I don't want his help. I'm mad at him.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that tracks.
No, sweet. Yeah, anything metal, you use to crack the
Okay,
glass.
so
and
he says all of that. We have our conversation. So I do a different whistle, a better whistle. And my sword thing, I want it to slice all these things open. And then I whistle and light those beings on fire.
The replicants catch a blaze, and without so much as a whimper, they are crisp.
Let's get out of here, guys. Let's head back to the ship. And I think we got to go figure out what's going on with your family.
We got to figure out something because whatever this whole solve our murders thing is starting to look really weak compared to what's really happening here.
Follow the money. Take us home, Posey.
So I head over to the stairwell and I start tromping up the 300 feet of stairs to get out of the fortress.
You guys exit the entire fortress without a vent. If there's anything left alive in here, it knows better than to talk to you.
Mm-hmm. As we're exiting, we come out of the top floor stairs and we're walking out through the courtyard. I spot the pram.
I climb into
and I
it.
unload into it 6 whiskey bottles.
Ooh!
Zippy smiles.
I'm a little annoyed because I was getting ready to climb into that puppy like a baby kangaroo into Mama's pouch.
You have leg smell.
Yeah, they're sticks.
And then I look at Posey and I'm like, oh, hey, sorry, man. Do you want to ride?
No, I Mr. Krabs my way past the pram with a sullen look on my face.
You guys make your way down the mountain pass. It is a long trip, much longer than you remember it being on the way up, but anything's better than inside of the fortress. You make it all the way through this abandoned town, but at the dock, you see there is now one little boat docked right next to yours, even smaller than yours, and just tying up the sails are 2 individuals. And as you get closer and closer...
I cast Hold Person and produce Flame. I'm just kidding.
As you get closer and closer, you see that one of these figures notices you and calls out in a voice you're surprised to hear.
They're back. You made it. I didn't think you guys would.
Edwin?
I pull out a butter knife.
I light him on fire.
Motherfucker.
I then step in front of Edwin. Don't kill him. I'll explain everything.
It's half a life, but I'm still living it. Yeah, it's a shallow breath, but I'm still breathing it. Half a life, but I'm still living it. Yeah, it's a half a life, but I'm still living it.
Murder, She Rolled stars David Sant as DM, Stacey Harkey as Posey Borgion, Shona Kay as Amber, Zippy Ziffendale, Alan Seawright as Lucky Kurzel, Ethan Vandermeiden as Stick Walkman, and Hope Vandermeiden as Delilah Winthrop. formerly on those last two. Our theme song is Half-Life by Glyph Society. Our captioning is provided by A10 Richards. Our show is edited and mixed by David Sant, and our assistant editor is Lauren Allen. If you like our show, you can directly support us on Patreon and get ad-free episodes early, along with our behind-the-scenes podcast, Coffin Talk, and our full edition Haunted House campaign, outtakes, and much more. And if you just sign up at our free tier, you can see free announcements, other updates, and occasionally we post something for you on there. So, yeah, get all that and more at our Patreon, patreon.com/murdersherolled. Some of our Patreon supporters are people like Caitlin Newsy, Vicky Lenoir, Zachary Slatton, Luna Birch, and Charlotte. Please subscribe and follow on your podcast platform and give us a rating and write a review. It really helps the show reach new people. You can follow us on social media at Murder She Rolled on Instagram and Threads, and our subreddit is r/MurderSheRolled. Now, this last episode was our Season 1 midpoint, and so we won't be releasing any mainline episodes until after Christmas. So if you want to stay updated and get all kinds of bonus content that we'll be releasing during the hiatus, join us on our Patreon. We have plenty more for you until the next episode comes out. And thank you so much for all of your support. We really could not do this without you guys.
Yeah, it's a heaven, but I'm still living.